Hello, beautiful soul. I hope you're doing amazing. So, today I wanted to go back a bit into the whole sustainable fashion thing. So, I feel like maybe I jumped too quickly into the content. And now, today, I want to give you like a broader perspective on why we should care, why the fashion industry is actually the second largest polluter in the world. So this is not a fact yet. So it's not black or white. It's not like it's been proven that the fashion industry is actually the second largest polluter in the world. So it's just when we put it into perspective, when we think about that, the fashion industry is actually comprised of many other industries, right? So it comprises as well the agricultural industry, right? To grow the cotton, to grow the linen. It comprises the petroleum industry to produce our best friends, the nylon and all synthetic fibers. So polyester, nylon, everything that is made with petroleum. It also comprises the transportation industry, right? Because our clothes actually travel the world from China or Bangladesh to here to your wardrobe. They actually travel the world. It also comprises the livestock farming industry. For wool, for leather, for fur. So it's an industry that is a mix of many other highly polluting industries. So this is why it's very hard to determine whether it is the second largest polluter in the world right after the petroleum industry, or whether it's, I don't know, third position, fourth position. So it's not black or white. It's not a fact, but a lot of research now proves or estimates that it is one of the largest polluters. So there is no doubt. Also, it's not only because it comprises many polluting industries. It's actually the business model of the fashion industry is highly polluting. So think about it. We overproduce clothes. We mass produce clothes. And not only clothes, cheap, low quality clothing. So first of all, the trends dictate that we need to change our wardrobe like every now and then. We need to throw everything away and start over to be trendy. So the manufacturers and the brands actually produce way too many clothes for what we actually need. It's not because they're not trendy anymore that we cannot wear them. So that's a big problem. And also because they're so low cost items, it's very easy, for the manufacturers and the brands and the stores to just say, well, let's produce a lot and we'll sell a lot because they're so cheap to produce and they're so cheap for the end consumers, right? You and me. So that's a big part of the problem, the overproduction. And the last reason why the fashion industry is the second largest polluter in the world is because of you and me, because we overconsume. And this draws me back to the very first episode of my podcast. It's entitled, This is the Core Problem. And this is actually our overconsumption problems. So it might not be you, and it's definitely not me when it comes to fashion. I'm not a big fashion consumer, but all of us as a society, we cause this problem. And yes, the Marie Kondo techniques and the minimalist approach to the way of living and the way of consuming are great because we can learn to really fall in love with what we have. So if you're not familiar with Marie Kondo, she's a Japanese woman and she's incredible. And she teaches people how to clean up their houses of the clutter and the mess and the overconsumption patterns that they've had in the past, by giving away or throwing away what they don't need, what they don't love anymore. But this causes tremendous environmental impact because we actually get rid of way too many things. So the thing is, we need to relearn to consume properly. We need to relearn to consume in a way that feels good for us, in a way that feels good for the planet, in a way that is good for the humanity, the workers who made your clothes. So we really need to learn to love our clothes again, to give ourselves permission to fall in love with them. And if we're not in love, well, just don't buy them, right? So yeah, it's a big shift. And if you haven't listened to the very first episode from my podcast, it's not available as a video like this one. But if you haven't listened to it, just go back and just listen closely to what I'm giving as an advice to relearn to fall in love with your clothes, to relearn to consume in a way that feels good. So yeah, these are the 3 main reasons why the fashion industry is this gigantic polluter. And we all have a role to play into this, right? So it all starts with the consumer, I think, and we're doing great. We are walking towards that direction, and hopefully all together we can make things change, hopefully. And it all starts with one person and one garment at a time. So can you spread the message? Can you teach people and help people to relearn to consume fashion in a way that is good for themselves, for the planet, and for the humanity?